You haven't done it in a while, so you host it. Do the introductions. You haven't done it in a while. Been lazy.
I kind of thought that was your thing.
Fine. You want me to do it? Or do you want to do it?
No, you got it.
We're set.
Go ahead. You ready?
Yeah. All right. Welcome, everyone, to Sports Opinions with Regular Guys. I'm Frank. This is Mike. Show number 2 for season number 2. We're in full swing with the NFL season. Week 1 wrapped up on Monday night, and all the week 1 results are in. We're going to go over most of them. Some of them we might just talk about a little bit, but we're going to go over the majority of most of them, especially with the upset win by the Bears, which I said was going to be a toss-up, by the way. We're going to get into that, into plenty of news of the NFL. So this is going to be NFL heavy, pretty much all NFL.
Yes, it is.
At this point, because a lot of stuff went down. And a lot of stuff afterwards. Some significant injuries happened this past week with some teams losing some key players, and see how that unfolds as the season goes on. So with that being said, let's get this started. We're going to start off with, of course, the Chicago Bears. And so this past weekend, or Sunday actually, it was was it like a tsunami out there at Soldier Field on Sunday. I remember going out early in that day. It was raining like hell. I mean, like goodness. I'm like, are they gonna get this game in? But it's football, so they play in the rain.
I mean, we were lucky there was no lightning, because I'm sure if there was lightning out there,
they would have stopped it.
Yeah.
But there was no lightning. It was just all rain. It was a sloppy field.
Yeah, it was.
And so, I hear a lot of these douchebag commentators from these networks like ESPN and NFL Network. Oh, it's the weather. Well, if I'm not mistaken, do both teams have to play in it?
Yeah.
And do they not get this weather in San Francisco?
Yes.
Just another excuse. All I heard was excuses. The bottom line was the Bears won 19-10. The offense looked pretty pedestrian in the first half. Justin Fields didn't really do much in the first half of the game. They weren't running the ball well, and San Francisco's defense was really showing off, because they are a very good defensive team, as I mentioned before.
Yeah, they are.
They shut down pretty much everyone last year, and they were still pretty good defensive team. Justin Fields had threw an interception. He got sacked. They were playing very well. They were shutting the Bears out in that first half. But the second half, they changed things around.
Bears.
And Justin Fields got his footing right.
Yep.
And he used his feet. He made some great, smart decisions, especially that one where he went out. And they were going after him, and they thought he was going to run the ball. He threw that ball on the opposite side of the field. What's his name? Wide open.
From Pettis.
And right down to the end zone.
For a 51-yard touchdown.
And then the other one, that smooth pass he did, I think it was a 25-yard line to make it. They were down like 7-10.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the next series. Justin Fields marched down the field. He was at the 20-yard line or 25-yard line. Threw that nice pass.
To St. Brown?
Yep, right in the end zone. You couldn't get no better than that. And that's what I'm looking for. And then we even got a rushing touchdown in there. The only problem that concerned me was, Santos missing those extra points. But he'll get better. It was a shitty field, so what do you expect?
Crappy weather.
And the defense showed up. They didn't let Trey Lance get shit, and he really shit the bed. He threw a pick. He got sacked. He just looked confused out there. And as I mentioned before, they rushed him in there, which I don't necessarily have an issue with that. Putting him in there, let him learn. But what's the point of signing Jimmy G? They signed Jimmy G because they're scared. They're not 100% convinced that Trey Lance is their guy. So they had to make sure that they re-sign Jimmy G, for the season on a less amount. And I hate to say it, but I will not be surprised if that man becomes a starter. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a starter as early as this weekend's games.
No.
If he shits the bed, I can clearly see in San Francisco benching him, because they are expected to do big things this season. And no, they are. Especially with
the 49ers are expected to do big things.
The 49ers are expected. the 49ers are expecting with that defense and with that running game with Debo, where they can use him as running and as a wide receiver. They just need a quarterback. And what were you saying last year? You were talking about how Jimmy G is not a very good quarterback. He doesn't put points on the board. He just doesn't. He's just not a very good quarterback. Well, guess what? I'm sure you would love to see him in there right now. I'm sure the 49ers would love to see him in there.
What did he do in the playoffs? I mean, they've already done the experiment with Jimmy G, and we've already seen what he's going to do with the past 2 years, which is nothing. He makes it to the playoffs. He gets shut down. They lose confidence in him. And he's also hurt a lot. I mean, let's not forget how many times that Jimmy G's been hurt in the past few seasons with the 49ers also. So reliability and the fact that you already know even when he's healthy what he's going to do in the playoffs, he's just not working. So to me, he was just a very good backup for whatever their master plan was if it didn't work out with Trey Lance, which, as you can see, is not going to work out because...
Well, it's game one, so we have to give it some time.
He looked pretty bad.
Well, you know, but you got to give credit to the Bears' defense. I mean, they showed up to play, and I'm glad about that. You know, because there are questions on the defensive end. They have a defensive coach, so you probably expect them to focus a lot on defense. But I want them to focus on offense. But the defense came to show up. You know, we didn't have any, injured. Players who are always injured, like a Khalil Mack. All of a sudden, he plays well. By the way, I wanted to mention that too.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
that too.
All of a sudden, he's coming out of nowhere and getting all those sacks. He wasn't doing that shit with us last season. Hakeem Hicks not there. You got these injured ass players who weren't doing anything for us. You got these young, hungry players on defense that want to play. They want to show up to play. They have the nucleus looks like in there for the defense. Is just see how it plays out. The defense, the Bears historically have always been a decent, good defensive team. Mm-hmm. It's the offense that needs to pick it up. Mm-hmm. We need to stop ranking in the top, the bottom half, the bottom 20 to 32, or below the 25 and below.
Right.
Because that's where they always rank every year.
Right.
25 the highest, 32nd the low, all the way at the end, but they never get anywhere above that. So I was very, very surprised. Because I was not feeling good in that first half. But again, I'll continue to say it. I still consider this a rebuilding year, but this is a good upset win, which we said the Bears might get a couple of upset wins. And I said that this game was going to be a toss-up. It was going to be somewhat of a toss-up because San Francisco has a great defense. They really do have a great defense. Mm-hmm. And the Bears, we know how their offensive struggles. How are they going to handle San Francisco's D? Well, they did. What I didn't expect was I didn't expect the Bears D to show up that well too. But I'm not surprised because again, San Francisco, they don't have a very good offensive team. They have Debo, but that's it. We know this, right? So
Debo got his.
Yes, he got his.
He got his, but that's about it. Though.
Yeah, and then they have key. The defense is so good.
Why is that?
Because their defense picks up the slack on where their offense slacks at. They pick it up in key moments. That's how they got where they were in the playoffs the last couple of years. But back to the Bears, they did a good job defensively with Trey Lance. They pressured him. They didn't let him get a lot. He got a couple of passes here and there, but they pressured him. They made him make bad decisions, as a first start of his career. So they made him pay the price. And you had Justin Fields off of his, rookie season, he seemed like he was a little bit more comfortable in the pocket.
In the second half.
Yep, he was able to run the ball, and I was impressed. I'm glad that they won.
Honestly, I think at halftime, they had a talk with him, and they just told him, hey, you know what? This is your team. We're going to go ahead and let you loose. Because that little roll to the left and finding Pettis wide open on the other side, that was kind of like, Patrick Mahomes,
Well, that goes to the coaching, though, don't you think?
I really like that.
Yeah, that's one thing that we definitely saw in this game was the different coaching styles. You can see that this team seems to be, even though they're young and they have a lot of one-year players, they were very well coached in this game. I can't say the same for, unfortunately, the coaching staff we had last year with a lot of the games. Mm-hmm. It just didn't seem like they were prepared. We're in the same shit and got tiresome. But this, you can see the coaching. Now, the big test is going to be Sunday night in Green Bay. I know Green Bay came off of a horrible loss. Well, I'm actually pretty happy. I don't feel bad for them at all. I don't expect the Bears to do much this year, but I do want the Packers to fail and stumble and fall. I want to lose every game if possible, because no matter what happens with the Bears, that's one team I don't want to see win anything. I hate that team. I hate everything about that team. But that's just me speaking as a Bears fan. But the Bears won this game, so they're 1-0. And they got a big game matchup against Green Bay this Sunday. And we'll see what happens with that. But I do believe that the Bears were very good, especially the Eddie Jackson interception. Trey Lance, stupid mistake he made, threw it right to Eddie Jackson. And what was the other one? Was a fumble. They did a peanut punch. Who was that who did the peanut punch when they fumbled the ball and they got it? It was great. They had got 2 turnovers, which was great. They gave pressure, a couple of sacks, and that's the way the Bears have to play. Now, I'm hoping they bring the same intensity in Green Bay on Sunday and really pressure Aaron Rodgers, who really can't trust his wide receivers, and we'll get into that in a few moments.
Yeah, we will.
But that's what I'm hoping with. But great game by Justin Fields. Even though he won't go about 100-something games, his efficiency, the touchdown passes. I don't care if he throws 100 yards a game. Hell, if you give me 3 touchdowns a game, I'll take it.
All right.
And we win.
All right. So I called out that the Bears were going to beat the 49ers. I called it out by 9, and it was, in fact, by 9. Maybe not exactly that score, but we did win, and we did win by 9. Now, Fields looked a whole lot better in the second half. Now, we also got to talk about the monsoon that was out there. I know it affected both teams, but when it came down to it, Justin Fields reacted a whole lot better than Trey Lance did in that weather. He came out with that little trick play to Pettis for that 51-yarder. I was impressed by that. That right there, I got up out of my seat and I was like, you know what? That was a nice pass and that was a good look, and it worked. And he got him another one. So I'm really impressed with Justin Fields. I'm still not gonna sit there and crown him, the greatest thing that showed up this season yet, or gonna be an MVP like some people that I know at my job are already saying 3 words MVP for Justin Fields. But he did perform well. He beat a team that Aaron Rodgers couldn't even beat. Granted it was Trey Lance, but you still gotta go up against that defense. You still got Debo, and you see how dangerous they were. He finished with 121 yards, but he got 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. The
interception was a little,
And there seems to be a lot of players headhunting his ass too.
Yes.
And they need to start calling those late hits.
Yes, and I was going to talk about that. That's another thing I saw again on Sunday.
I saw this in the preseason
sliding, getting hit, helmet to helmet hit, and no one calls anything until the coach is going wild, and then let's throw a flag now. No, man, you see this man getting hit. You see the hits on him. You blow at
Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, that's a damn 15-yard roughing the passer penalty or late hit.
We need to do better with protecting him, especially from the late hits, because I think the league knows that they don't call late hits on him, so they're just laying it on him. But impressed, yes, and I got something else for you. Next week, we're playing the Green Bay Packers on Sunday at 7:20 p.m. on
Sunday night game.
I have the Bears beating the Packers.
Oh, wow.
I have the Bears beating the Packers. Why? Because I watched the Packers game too. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, I was not impressed at all with their wide receiving core.
They still have a good running game though, and that's what they can.
And all you saw was Aaron Rodgers mad, upset, cursing. You saw him cursing, right?
That wide open pass. That is an easy touchdown. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of? Remember when the Bears went to the playoffs a couple of years ago against the Saints? And was it Trubisky who threw that wide open pass to who was that? Was it Mooney?
No, it wasn't Mooney.
He threw it to him. He was wide open.
I know what you're talking about, yep.
And it was the same thing. This was about a 60-yard bomb. Yep. Perfect. It was a perfect throw.
Right through his hand.
Boom.
He watched it come the entire time.
And you see the look on Aaron Rodgers' face. He's like, he looked like, you saw the look on his face. It was priceless. And then him after that, they show him going back, and looking like that looked like, what the hell did I get myself into? It's like, well,
I'll tell you what he got himself into.
Don't know Devontae Adams. That's what happened. He should have threw it to Randall Cobb. Maybe Randall Cobb would have caught
Randall Cobb can't get separation anymore. You saw him trying to get to Randall Cobb. He's not getting the separation. His D is right on him, breathing down his neck. He's not getting it no more. So that's why he's not going to Randall Cobb.
Well, since we're talking about it, first of all, before we wrap this up, is there anything else you want to speak about our Chicago Bears?
Congratulations to Eberflus.
First win,
first game, first win. I'm down, and I believe in this new look team. I believe in the offense, and that's why I was confident we were going to beat the 49ers. And I'm taking that confidence with me that we're going to go to Green Bay.
And now we have a 2-game lead over them over overall wins in NFL history.
Yeah, and we're going to beat Green Bay because they don't have receivers, and we're going to be on them. If we lay a couple of good hits on their receivers, I'll bet you they're going to be worried. They're going to be dropping balls left and right.
Well, I think what Rodgers will end up doing is, because they're good at running those screen plays, and that's how he gets the Bears a lot, is those screen plays. He has good running backs that he get those screen plays to, so the Bears need to be careful with that. And again, I know you said he's washed up. I don't think he's that washed up like you think he is, and that's Randall Cobb. Is always open to get some kind of pass. Always. So they got to watch out for him because he always kills the Bears. Always kills the Bears.
That was years ago.
No, even now. So moving on to the Packers. So they got basically demolished, in my opinion, by the Minnesota Vikings. Now, that was 23-7. And I watched that game. And I don't, you know how much I hate both these teams. I hate the Packers the most. And I hate the Vikings the second most. But when it comes to these two playing, I go for the Vikings. I only cheer for them 2 times a year when they're playing the Packers. But they came out and they busted Green Bay's ass. And they didn't play games with him. They didn't play games with Aaron Rodgers. They didn't play games with that defense, that offense. And they exposed that defense too. And, oh my goodness, help me out, Justin Jefferson. Boy, did he shred their asses.
Yeah, man.
Hard. This is supposed to be, now mind you, this is supposed to be one of the best defenses in the league coming in. Right? They swept Green Bay's defense. And guess what? Justin Jefferson, this guy had what? 184 receiving yards.
And 2 touchdowns.
I don't think the Bears ever had anyone get that many receiving yards on them.
I'll have to look that up.
Green Bay got shredded for 184 receiving yards by one person.
It was record-setting. Record-setting first
half. 183 receiving yards. Again, it goes back to me saying, Green Bay's defense is not that good, and I've been saying this for years. All you got to do is keep them on the way to beat Green Bay is...
Don't let them get ahead.
No, well, don't let them get ahead, yes. But here's how you do it. Even if they do get ahead, what you have to do is wear down the defense. Have long, sustaining drives. Okay? Don't go 3 and out. Have long 5, 7, 8 minutes sustaining drives. You keep Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines where he'll get rusty. He has receivers he can't trust. He's an offensive line that's shaky. Look how many times he got sacked. They rocked his ass good. You saw that, right?
I saw it.
So I won't be surprised. And it was one hit he got hit on. He didn't get up very quick, like he might have been.
Because he got sandwiched.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting hurt or getting a concussion if it keeps happening, if this keeps it up. But Minnesota just beat them in every aspect of the game. And Aaron Rodgers had no answer for it. His receivers he can't trust. They can't catch the ball. They're not open. And Aaron Rodgers is rushing passes and stuff. Did he throw an interception?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did throw an interception. He threw an interception early in that game.
He did.
Yeah. Again, people look at it like, well, Green Bay had a bad game last season. That's true. They did when they against the Saints, when the Saints blew them out. So it could be another anomaly, but this ain't the same team. I'm sorry.
No.
This is not the same team from last year. Okay? What is it? Their offensive line. Some of the players on their offensive line are hurt.
Yep.
You don't have Devontae Adams putting up. You don't have no 1,800 yard receiving a person no more unless Cobb is going to be that person. Yeah. But you said he's not going to be.
Not going to be that person.
So who do they have?
man, I'm still waiting for Alan Lazard to come back.
He's hurt. He's not coming back.
That's supposed to be the guy.
I don't think he's coming back for a while.
I didn't see anyone else that looked that promising on that team, man. I'm sorry.
And I hate to say, as far as Minnesota goes, yes, they are a decent defensive team. They have been. I'll give them the credit. They have been. But I'm sorry. I just don't trust Kirk Cousins. You just put pressure on him, and he'll fold like a tree. He'll fold like a chair. I'm sorry.
Kirk Cousins puts up, really good numbers.
Yeah, but he is that type of quarterback, Mike, that he's bound to.
Well, in the playoffs, yes, for whatever reason.
Yeah, but in other games too.
Dude.
Against good teams, yeah, but against really good teams, he stumbles. And yes, he does put up decent numbers. He's just that type of quarterback I just don't trust. He's not going to get him to the promised land. I'm just going to be honest with you. But he can beat Green Bay because he has, I guess he has been beating them a few times. But they're in a division, which is what the Bears should be doing. So I hope the Bears can go into Green Bay and give an Aaron Rodgers an 0-2 start and see what happens. Because I really don't want them to do anything this season. I don't want Minnesota to do anything either. But
someone has to win the top of the division right now.
Yeah, at the moment. Well, it's a tie, right? I guess Minnesota has it because they played a division game. That's why. And they scored more points than the Bears.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens next week. But Green Bay is in trouble.
Yeah.
Their receiver issues, which could straighten out against. They could have a good game against the Bears, but the Bears can mess around and mess up here. Okay? They have to be aggressive like they were against San Francisco. And the thing I have with the Bears, and this is going back to the Matt Nagy last couple of years with him. This is what worries me about the Bears against the Packers, like with a lot of teams. They come out slow in the first half. They don't score. You can't do that against Green Bay.
No.
They can't do it against Aaron Rodgers. Even though he has shitty receivers, he still finds ways to score and always finds ways to score against the Bears. Some trick play, some bullshit. Referee help, something. You get some luck goes their way every game. Some kind of luck always goes their way. And so, and it happens all the time.
Well, that's how he got intercepted. Is he tried one of those little Hail Mary heave passes.
Well, that was a desperation because he has to try to get, and as you can see, he said he's not changing his game. He's not keep it the same way. The receivers have to learn his game.
Why should he? He's a two-time MVP.
True, but as a veteran quarterback, you've got to know your receivers. So you don't want to change your game, but you also want to somehow have them adjust. You can't, these are young players. These are rookies, some of them. So you can't just expect them to just know everything right offhand. You're not playing with veteran receivers, and he knows this. And also, this also goes to his issues is he didn't go to any off-season training camps. He didn't play anything in the preseason. No, it is an excuse. Because look here, those rookie receivers he was playing with, they were playing with Jordan Love and the rest of those crappy quarterbacks they got. And so they weren't playing with Aaron Rodgers and learning his system in those practices. Had that happened, they might have better chemistry. Think about it. They might have better chemistry
he had practices with them.
But he was not in the preseason. He was not in the off-season training camps this off-season.
Are they not paid professionals making millions of dollars?
But when you're a rookie, it's different, Mike. It's not like you have a veteran or a veteran.
You've been playing football your entire life. You run a play, you run a route, and you catch the ball. Yeah, I get it. It's Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, really. You catch the ball. You are a paid professional. You are the cream of the crop that made it to the NFL. Catch the ball. That's all I'm just saying.
Well, it's different than having. So Devontae Adams is gone.
Yep.
And Randall Cobb is at the end of his rope, right?
Yep.
So you have rookies receivers, no-name receivers that haven't really done anything in the NFL. Just coming into the NFL, and you expect them to adjust to a Hall of Famer, two-time MVP, Aaron Rodgers, into this new system they've never been in before, and expect them just to get in there and gel like that.
Let me see here. Romeo Doubs, Travis Fulgham.
Yeah.
Amari Rodgers. You heard any of those names before?
I've never heard them in my life.
Samari Tower. Sammy Watkins, you've heard.
Alan Lazard is going to be their best receiver when he gets healthy.
Christian Watson. None of those names have you heard, and
you said,
and that's the issue.
Well, like you said all the time, The same thing you say with Tom Brady. You put these receivers on Tom Brady's team, and no one knows them, but they become stars overnight.
I'm going to tell you what happened.
So what's the difference with Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers took the bag, the entire bag, and they just didn't have enough money to get good enough talent, like real talent on the team. And it's going to hurt them this year. And it's going to make Aaron Rodgers look bad for taking all that money and not even making the playoffs.
He's a rich man. Now he can take, not that he was already rich. But hey, guess what? They get absolutely no sympathy from me.
I'm sure they don't.
And I am glad that they lost, and I hope the Bears kill them. Now, this is one of the games I do want the Bears to win. I always want them to beat Green Bay. I don't care if they go 2-15. Get those 2 wins off of Green Bay. Or at least one of the wins from Green Bay, because they just been like Aaron Rodgers. He owns the team, right? He owns them. So let's change that narrative and beat them this upcoming Sunday when they go up to Green Bay and take them out.
Man.
Now moving on.
Can we talk about the Rams and the Bills?
And moving on to Thursday, the first game of the season, which I hate to say it, I called this. Not only did I call it, I called it a blowout. I wasn't too far off the score either. I called this a blowout. I said the Bills would blow out the Rams, and that's exactly what happened on opening night in LA. Because you had the ring ceremony, the Rams are just too into their rings and into the championship ceremony, and they're not ready to play the Buffalo Bills, who came in there hungry. They're pissed off from losing to the Chiefs, I think, in the playoffs last year. Yeah. They're ready to get out there and perform, and they did not disappoint. Josh Allen was on fire.
Yes, he was.
And he didn't bullshit around. He went and he took care of business, and I expected him to do it. And I'll tell you right now, Buffalo, I know it's the first game, but they've been disappointed the last couple of years. They've been expected to go a little further in the playoffs. But something tells me this year's a little bit different. Something tells me this could be their year. This could be their year. Look, if Cincinnati can make it to the Super Bowl, and look what they did and get beat by the Rams the way that they did last year.
First game of the year.
The Buffalo Bills can definitely get to the Super Bowl, and the Rams aren't going to get back again.
You don't think the Rams are going to get back again?
No, they're not making it back to they'll make the playoffs, but they're not going back to the Super Bowl.
We're looking at the first game of the year.
Yeah, but these guys
were on their emotions about getting their rings and getting their banner and all that. Just like every champion team every year, they're all in their emotions. And what happens when they play? They get whooped, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but Buffalo wasn't playing around. You could see this team as a good team. They are a better team than the Rams.
He was initiating hits on players. It's been a while since you've seen a quarterback doing that.
Yeah, and you saw he wasn't fazed by them. Super Bowl champions. So what? They feel that they're a better team, and I think they're a better team, and I think they're going to have a really good year. I don't know what I said their season would be. I know this game was going to be a blowout, but I'm going to say that Buffalo is definitely going to be a double-digit win season. They're going to win that division for sure. They're 1-0 now. I probably say they end up going, 14-3 or 13-4.
Wow.
And then we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
I mean, they have a lot of talent on their team.
And you know what's messed up about it? We played them.
Well, we'll see how we rank up against them.
Yeah, we played them this season. So,
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
So, now the Rams, was it me or did Matthew Stafford just look like total shit?
Well,
I mean, he didn't look good at all. To me, he didn't.
3 interceptions.
Yeah.
Okay, he got sacked 7 times.
Yep. He looked just as bad as Burrow did.
Yeah, he did. If not worse.
Yeah.
3 interceptions.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
And 7 sacks. So he passed for 240 yards and 1 passing touchdown. Those were not really great numbers for Matthew Stafford. Those were Detroit Lions numbers for him.
No, he was putting up way better numbers than that in Detroit. But I'll tell you what this is, though. This could be a good old-fashioned case of, I won my championship. I'm not hungry no more. I won it. I'm good to go. I'm just going with the flow.
It could be, but
I won. I'm not in Detroit. I won. I'll be competitive, but I'm the type of, I got my Super Bowl win. I'm not going back to the Super Bowl again in my career. I'll make it to the playoffs, but I'm satisfied with what I have.
I give Stafford,
that's what I think.
I give Stafford more balls than that. I don't think he's that guy that's going to be satisfied by one. He looks like he's got a point to prove. Like, hey, I wasted all my time in Detroit in that ridiculous system, and now look at me in a good system. And look what I'm going to do.
Plural. He knows how many systems did he go through?
Yeah, every year was a new system, basically. I mean, I expect them to be better next game. I expect them all to be better. Cam Akers was a big difference in the Rams. He's supposed to be their main running back. What'd he do? Nothing. He got 3 yards? So that was a horrible outing.
I was looking here.
And Von Miller, that was a big difference. On
Denver.
No, Buffalo.
Well, they're playing the Rams, who are 0-1, and the Rams put up a better showing than the Falcons.
Oh, okay.
The Rams play the Falcons, and the Falcons actually played better than the Rams did this weekend, that's for sure. But the Rams, we'll see what happens. To me, they'll make the playoffs. They may even win the division, but they're not going to go to the Super Bowl. They're not even winning the conference. So, moving on up. Speaking of the Falcons, we got the Saints and the Falcons. This was a 1-point victory for the Saints. But they pulled out that victory with a game-winning field goal.
They sure did. And they were up. They were up.
Well, I mean, Jameis Winston threw for, 269 or almost 270. Got 2 touchdowns. And, which, good for them. The Saints were expected to win that game. I had them winning that game. They should have won that game. But it shouldn't have been so close. The Falcons aren't that good, in my opinion. But do you know who is good on the Falcons? Is our former teammate
Cordell Patterson.
Cordell Patterson had another 120-yard game and a touchdown.
I got him on my fantasy team.
How the hell did we get rid of him?
We didn't know what to do with him. And you see, as soon as he went elsewhere, they knew how to use him as a double threat.
I mean, it's not much.
The man can catch. Yeah. The man can run. He's huge. And he can run. I mean, he's lightning fast.
And what did Marcus Mariota do there? Nothing?
Well,
he threw for 200 yards and did nothing?
215 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions.
But somehow they stayed in the game. So, I mean, the Falcons are what they are. I don't see them doing much. I see, they'll win a few games, but they're not going anywhere. We'll be honest with you. Anything else you want to say about this game?
I was really surprised and impressed by Jameis Winston.
Really?
Yes. I was not expecting him to come out and be the leader.
Who's going to do it
on that team? Well, I wasn't expecting the
Breeze ain't walking through that door no more.
Well, I didn't think Jameis Winston was going to be the guy.
Someone has to put up the numbers.
So I thought this was going to be a rebuilding year for the Saints.
Yeah, they have a new well, that could still be the case.
And, I was impressed by that outing.
That could still be the case because they have a new coaching staff. They have, different players. So now we're going to go to one of the other games here, one of the upsets. It is an upset. And that is Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Defending AFC champions at home against the Steelers with Mitchell Trubisky, former Bears QB, out there. He was named the starting quarterback.
True.
Now, I had Cincinnati winning this game, and I was wrong. It was one of my picks I did get wrong, actually. Pittsburgh came out, and they took it to Cincinnati. The score should have been much more than 23-20 because the way Cincinnati played, the way Joe Burrow played was god awful. That guy's like he threw an interception every time he threw the ball. And he got sacked how many times? He just did not look himself. He looked like out of touch. What do you got to blame? He didn't win the Super Bowl. He was at home. It wasn't no primetime game. What happened there? How did you sit there and let the Steelers, with their defense, just gave it to him? And they let Mitchell Trubisky get out there and do his thing. And, they lost.
Yeah, they did.
So Burrow looked horrible. I'm sorry. He threw for over 300 yards, but that doesn't. He was playing from behind the whole game for the most part. And
4 interceptions.
Yeah, 4 interceptions. How many sacks?
7.
7 sacks, yes. 4 interceptions. Yeah, yes. That's just horrible.
It was.
I'll throw this off as he just had a bad game, but he can't have too many more games like this. He didn't put up any touchdowns. Did he put up any touchdowns?
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That's horrible. That's a bad.
But they were playing the Steelers.
If you had him on fantasy, that's a horrible stat.
Even then, they were playing the Steelers, and you know who the Steelers are.
Yeah, but the Steelers, in my opinion, are sort of a I don't want to say rebuilding quite yet, but almost there because they haven't been the same. They've been on the decline for the last couple of years, I think.
They made the playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs, but look where they stumbled when they got in last year. They had
a 40-year-old quarterback.
Well, I don't think the Mitchell Trubisky is going to be. He may be, but he's a Band-Aid.
No interceptions, 194 yards passing, and a touchdown.
Seems like those are numbers he was giving us.
He only got sacked once. I mean, I think
you think though he didn't turn the ball over?
No turnovers.
Not yet, man. It seemed like he was turning the ball over at least one game every game he played with us.
Maybe he was, but we had horrible coaching compared to Mike Tomlin.
True. Well, I mean, I didn't really have too big of an issue with Trubisky. I'm glad he got another shot because he needs the shot to stay in the league because, he was actually relegated to a backup. So he lucked into this job and he wants to take the best, take advantage of it. And we'll see what happens moving forward. Yeah. So Bengals, disappointing loss to them. They are 0-1, but they'll bounce back. I see them in Buffalo being Buffalo, Cincinnati, and KC, and the Chargers. I have those teams as the top teams in the AFC, followed by maybe Baltimore. We got to see about Baltimore, but I have some reservations about them somewhat.
Let's not forget about the big injury in that game.
Yeah, let's not forget about that. TJ Watt tore his pectoral.
Yeah.
He's out for a significant amount of time. I don't even want to say it. I'm going to say probably the year. If not, at least more than half the year.
We won't see him till like December, man. They're saying, it might be as soon as
October.
It's not.
And it depends. And it depends on where the Steelers are at that point. If they're out of it, he ain't coming back this season. Then why would you bring him back?
Right.
So moving on to the next game, we'll go over some of these, brief over them. Eagles, Lions, close game. Shouldn't have been that close, but it was a close game. Eagles came back and beat the Lions 38-35. High-scoring game. With Jalen Hurts.
I like Jalen Hurts.
He is the future of the Eagles.
Yep.
But they came and won. What did he throw for? He threw for 243 yards. Yeah. And but they were a lot of that he was down most of the game.
Yeah.
Because Detroit took the lead in most of that game, but of course Detroit, they just like some things just don't change with them. They have a lead, they blow it at the end of the game.
Yeah. I don't know. Typical. That team is cursed, man. They are cursed. Mm-hmm. And not only did he pass for 243, the man also rushed for 90 yards. So Jalen Hurts put in some work.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a top quarterback in the NFC, especially in that division.
Yep.
I think to say that he's going to be better than your boy Dak Prescott in that division.
Ooh.
I think will be a better quarterback. That's just my opinion on that. And Jared Goff, how did he do? What did you think of his performance?
Well, he had 2 passing touchdowns. He threw for 200 yards, but I'm saying he's playing for a cursed team. And I know how it must feel to be a winner all the time, and now you're putting on this team, and now you're losing all the time. This can't be good for his morale. And
how do you think Stafford felt? How do you think Barry Sanders felt? How do you think Calvin Johnson felt?
That's why all these people retired. Like, man, goodness. I'm done. Get me up out of here.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you might be right. I mean, Detroit is Detroit, so they're 0-1. Moving on to New England Pats. The Pats and the Finns.
Man, my man Mac and Cheese got his back hurt.
I called this game exactly like I thought it would be.
His back was hurt.
Oh, boy.
His back was hurt.
His back was hurt. His pride was hurt. How did his back get hurt? This is the first game of the season. How did your back get hurt?
He got hit. He got folded.
Mac and Cheese folded like a chair, just as I thought he would. Mm-hmm. And that's why I picked the Dolphins to win. One, you got to look at history. New England, even when Tom Brady was there, was not playing very well in Miami. They just don't. That team does not play well down there. And it doesn't matter if it's Tom Brady or Mac and Cheese. What's his real name again? I forgot.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Mac and Cheese. Mac Jones.
Yep.
He didn't do very well, and he only put up 7 points.
Yeah, I know.
And I said it was going to be a blowout.
Well, I watched some of that.
20-7. Tua didn't do bad at all.
No, actually, I want to talk about that. Because
you were hating on him last week for sure.
Well, I'm going to continue to.
270 yards? touchdown
yards.
Well, he was sacked 3 times. But the thing about that is that line has to improve with Miami. But that's another team that I think will make the playoffs. I think them and Buffalo are going to come out that division. The 2 playoff teams that come out of the AFC East. Mm-hmm. And I think the Pats and the Jets will be the bottom feeders, and they're not going to make the playoffs. I don't care if you have Bill Belichick in there. I got Miami and Buffalo competing in that division. With Buffalo is going to walk away with the division, but I got Miami probably coming out as a wild card, one of the wild card teams.
Miami is most definitely a passing team.
Of course.
I watched that game.
Well, that's what they brought Tua.
And I'll tell you what.
As long as he stays healthy, though. He has to stay healthy.
They rushed that ball. They rushed the ball like about 14 times, as opposed to him hitting off about 7 different receivers or 8 different receivers. You had Tyreek Hill caught for 94 yards, Waddle for 69 yards, Edmonds for 40 yards. I mean, they're a pass-heavy team, and I wondered what's going to happen when they play
teams like Buffalo.
Yeah,
teams like
are they going to be good enough to be putting up these kind of passing yards? Is Tua going to be good enough to do it? So, wait. I give them their credit. They beat New England. I actually had picked New England because Belichick is the coach, and I figured he's going to have, this team come out and play against the Dolphins and not let the Dolphins show out. The Dolphins actually did show out, and they beat them. And I'm actually excited to see what happens next week with the Dolphins because that's a team I'm watching too.
Well, they're going to put them to the test. Well, no, the Bills will put them to the test at some point, but we'll see what happens with them. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be a decent team. Patriots, not so much. Moving on, Ravens, Jets, not much to say about this game. The Jets stink as always. Ravens blew them out 24-9. Mm-hmm. Jackson threw for 3 touchdown passes. No surprise there. Mm-hmm. That's just a bottom-feeding team, and he beats up on. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to say Jackson had a great game, which I expected.
Can we give some credit to Joe Flacco coming out
to
for
do
the
what?
New York Jets and passed for 309 yards?
But he only put up 9 points.
But the man passed for over 300 yards.
Well, if you're gonna say that, hold on. If you're gonna credit him on that, then I guess you better credit who we just talked about, Burrow, who threw for 300 yards too. So I don't know what you're getting at. You can throw for 400 yards, but where the touchdowns?
How old is Joe Burrow and how old is Joe Flacco? I mean, we thought Joe Flacco was washed up and he was done, and he is starting for them, and he is putting up big.
You got to put up points. You got to put up TDs. But it doesn't matter. He's just a Band-Aid anyway for them. The Jets are rebuilding. We know this. They're going to be.
He's not going to be the future.
There's not really much to say about this. Jackson, we know what he's going to put up. So, in my opinion, I think he is great. I mean, he's going to be good, obviously, and this is just a team to beat up on. Next, the Washington Commanders.
Commanders. Not the football team now.
Not the football team or the Reds. Oh, can't say that word. They're the Commanders against the Jacksonville Jaguars, as the always pitiful Jacksonville Jaguars. But that game was interesting because Carson Wentz, who we thought was done for, those 4 touchdown passes. I'm wondering if the Bears play the Jacksonville Jaguars can Justin Fields throw for 4 touchdown passes.
I think we can.
But we don't play them this season, unfortunately.
What a shame.
What a shame, that's right. But we do play the Texans.
But, hey, we'll get to them because they're surprised. They were a surprise too, but we'll get to them.
But this game is not. I mean, the big thing about this game is Wentz, who tore his ACL last year, I think it was, and he throws for 4 touchdown passes. That's impressive.
It was.
And on his other side, Trevor Lawrence, he put up 275, but he doesn't have any help. He's another quarterback similar to Justin Fields, where you got to get him an offensive line, you got to get him some players.
His best receiver is Christian Kirk.
But he has the potential to be great. He was the number 1 overall pick, for God's sakes.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of those come and go. Though.
Yeah, but they gotta get him some help. I just think that Jacksonville is a badly run franchise. Okay. That's just what I think. And
fair enough.
And they probably need their best bet is to move the hell. I bet you they'll start winning when they move the hell out of Jacksonville. Come to Chicago. It could be our second football team. Moving on. we have the Browns and the Panthers. This game was interesting because I was wrong on this game because I had actually thought that Baker Mayfield was going to show revenge and go back to
That's what I had
plays against his old team Cleveland and just torch the hell out of them. Well, that didn't quite happen. It was a close game. And what did Mayfield put up on that game against his old team?
So Mayfield had 235 passing yards.
He was just sacked a lot in that game.
1 touchdown. He did get that interception.
And he was sacked about
4 sacks.
4 sacks, yeah. He didn't have a very good game that I thought he would have, and I thought he would have had it.
He also rushed for a touchdown too, though.
Yeah, he did. But the one who impressed me on that game was the quarterback of Cleveland, Brissett.
Yes.
He didn't really put up big numbers, eye-popping numbers, but he did throw for 147 yards.
He managed
did
the
one
game.
touchdown. He managed it properly.
Yeah.
He didn't blow the game for them.
Yeah.
And the Browns got an upset win. Hey, that's an upset win. Not only, 11 games? How many games was Winston suspended for? 11? Was it 11? It was 11 games.
So. Yeah, 11 games.
So now he only had 10 games winning. Now they're 1-0 without him. So, hey, maybe they might win without him. They don't need him. Right? Maybe not. But not much to say about this game except it was a good win for Cleveland. But we'll see what happens with Baker Mayfield. Do you think he's going to have a good season?
I think he's going to have a good season. I think he's going to be fine. The big thing we missed, Christian McCaffrey. He's supposed to be like the truth as far as a running back goes. And I'll tell you what, his first couple of years in North Carolina, with the Carolina Panthers, he was killing it. I had him on my fantasy team. This guy was killing it. And I'm telling you, since he got hurt, he's been staying hurt. It's like you cannot trust having him. I had a chance to pick him up on my fantasy, and I just passed up on him because I figured he was going to be hurt. And you know what he did? Hurt. First game he did almost nothing.
Well, if he stays healthy, he'll change that. So we'll see. Carolina's an interesting wild card type of team. So I really don't know. I don't know where they're going or what their record will be. They look like they could hover around a 500 team, maybe 9-8 or something like that.
Yeah.
But moving on, we have the Colts and the Texans.
Tie.
And this is the problem I have with the NFL. Ties. I don't know why you have them. They should not be in NFL. I don't know why they are. They should not be. And then a matter of fact,
how many overtimes do you want?
There could be an overtime period, but all you have to do is change the rules a little bit. If you have an overtime period and no one scores, then you go to the field goal game. The team that misses the field goal will just do field goals from yards, from like 25, 35, 45, 55, whatever, until the team makes it and the team misses it, and that's it. There should never be ties in football. There's not that many games to have a tie in. And it's like a waste of time. All that brutal beating and all that excitement in the game just to end in a goddamn tie.
Well, it's not a
I
loss.
never liked that.
It's not a
but
loss.
It's not a win either. And it hurts you too. When it comes down to it, when it comes to playoff seeding, it should be eliminated. And I don't know why in God's name you have a tie. Do you have a tie in the NFL? I mean, in the NBA?
No.
Do you have a tie in Major League Baseball?
Nope.
Do you have a tie in hockey? Yeah, you do have a tie in hockey. But in baseball, they play until there's a winner.
Yeah.
And NBA, they play until there's a winner. But anyway, beyond that, this game was a tie, 2020. Lovie Smith's debut with the Texans ends in a tie. So he has no win, he has no loss. But the interesting thing about this game was the debut of Matt Ryan in a new uniform, which is the Indianapolis Colts.
Yep.
He threw a lot of yards.
352 passing yards.
But it only resulted in one touchdown pass.
Yeah, but 352 yards, you just can't take that away. You
can't take it away. Those are good numbers, yardage.
Them.
But again, it's the scoring. You got to score. I mean, you could put up 500 yards, but where are the touchdowns to match those yards? If you're putting up 352 yards, then you should have four. You should have 4 touchdown passes.
Come on now, at least 2 touchdowns.
2, 3 at least. Minimum is 3. I'll give you 3.
How many?
But I guarantee you have an Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady.
Yeah, they'll put up 2 or 3.
If they put up 352 yards, I guarantee they're going to have about 4 touchdown passes along with them. So that's all I'm saying. It's disappointing to me. 352 yards and just 1 touchdown pass. Those are disappointing numbers to me.
Yeah.
On the other side, who's it? Mills? I don't even know who this guy is.
That's what I'm saying. It is a straight, and that's why I feel like this is like a team built for Lovey to fail, because it's like,
well, he put up 240 yards and 2 touchdowns, so it wasn't so bad.
Team?
Well, hey, it gave him a tie. We play them at some point in the season. I don't know.
Yeah, we're probably gonna whoop them.
But Lovey comes to town, and we'll see what happens. But not really much to say about this 2020 tie. No one wins, no one loses. Crap. I hate that. Next is we have, oh goodness, the New York Giants and the Tennessee Titans. Now this is another one that I got wrong. And I think we both got it wrong.
Yeah.
Because we sure didn't have the Giants winning this.
No.
So Tennessee, who we have built on a defensive team, lays an egg. What else can you say? And they let New York come in their home and beat them. Daniel Jones, okay, and then Saquon Barkley, his first name Barkley. He actually had a really good game. You know, he tore his ACL a couple of years ago against the Bears, and he hasn't been the same since. But yeah, Sunday's games, he came out to play, and they ended up coming back and beating the Tennessee Titans. I think it was a 2-point conversion. They ended up winning the game.
Yep.
The Giants did a smart move there, which a lot of coaches on the road don't do this. When you have a chance to tie the game, and you get a touchdown to tie it or take the lead, most coaches go for that 1 point, the extra point to tie it, and maybe take the chances in overtime.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, the hell with this, I want that 2-point conversion. I don't want it to go to overtime. I'm on the road. I want to win this game, get the 2-point conversion, and not expecting it, and run it down their throat and go home with a victory. I don't want to take this team to overtime. That's a ballsy move. So I give that coach credit on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Now,
go on.
you also have to give Saquon Barkley his props.
164 yards, of course I'm going to give him credit.
Wow.
He had a hell of a game. He had a comeback game.
He ran a 68-yarder on his own. I mean,
yeah.
He basically carried that team on his back, in my opinion.
He had a great game. I mean, he hadn't played this good since, 2 or 3 years ago. That's good.
What did Daniel Jones do? 188 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's still young like Justin Fields. You've got to give him time. But look at this, though. Think about it. Jones threw 188 yards. He threw for 2 touchdown passes. The problem is their offensive line is horrible. He got sacked 5 times.
Right.
Okay? So that's going to be a problem. The Giants, we know the Giants aren't going anywhere. They'll probably win a few games. They'll probably win 3 or 4 games. Maybe 5 games. We'll give them 5. Tops, maybe. But they're not going anywhere. But this is a good for Barkley. This is a good for his psyche. You know, the man came back from a devastating ACL injury. He didn't do much last season. And he comes back and puts up over 100 yards. That's a good start for him. He might go back to his old form and put up over 1,200 yards for the season or more.
Derrick Henry only rushed for 82. I was expecting a big 100-plus yard
first game a little rusty probably. Again, there's another player that probably didn't play any preseason. Didn't go to any OTAs. And, just come on the field in the first game you think he's going to sit there and beat God.
Tannehill, 266 yards.
Efficient, though.
I mean, that was good.
But that's
no interception, so that was good.
Just not enough. Or they just sat there and let New York creep up on them and beat them. It's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
Let's move on.
Yep, let's move on. So next we got we already talked about the Packers and the Vikings. So we'll go on to the Chiefs and the Cardinals. Now, this is exactly how I expected it to. It sure was.
Clinic.
What did Mahomes throw for? 5 TDs?
5 touchdowns.
What did I say he was going to throw for?
Man.
Did I say somewhere around 4 or 5 touchdowns? I told you this was going to be a high scoring game. I said it was going to be a blowout. And Mahomes didn't disappoint. And I mean,
5-0 in season.
What did you say last season or a couple of years ago? Oh,
they were starting to catch on.
They kick up. Really? Throwing 5 touchdown passes with his offensive line holding for once. I don't know if anyone's catching up to him. Sorry. I mean,
he looked great. I'm not even gonna lie.
And he did all this. He did all this without Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
But who helped him? You forgot about the other one, Kelsey. That is his number one receiver, isn't it?
Yep.
So,
Travis Kelce.
You know, while Kyle Murray in his $230 million contract, he threw for 193 yards, 2 touchdown passes. But
a lot of that was garbage time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of that was garbage time scores.
I hate to say this about that kid because I think he could be good, but something about him smells bust.
You're not feeling him. But why did they pay him so much money for that?
Because they're desperate. A lot of these teams are desperate, Mike. A lot of these NFL teams, they're so desperate that they think they got their franchise quarterback. They will do anything to hold on to them. If you haven't noticed the last couple of years, they're desperate.
Yeah.
You know, because quarterbacks are hard to find, so they feel that this guy's the future, which he possibly can be. He looks like he's a good player, but I just, for some reason, especially this offseason
how many years has he been in the league now?
I think
he's been in the league at least 4 years.
I think for some reason he's trending towards that Dak Prescott type of overrated, type of
really
underperforming, overrated, just not.
That's what we're
there, but we'll see. He's still young, so we'll take a look into that. But this was just a clinic, as you mentioned. Mahomes was just a killer.
Yes, he was.
And I just, that's how it is. So that's what I don't get is how does he not get the MVP and they keep giving it to Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. You got him throwing 5 touchdown passes. You got Aaron Rodgers throwing. No touchdown. No touchdowns.
This year. The year just started.
The
year just started.
But
let's relax. As he likes to
we'll
say,
see.
Relax.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not relaxing now. I bet he'd shoot those wide receivers' asses out.
Sure.
But anyway, moving on. Finishing this up, we had the Raiders and the Chargers. You had Herbert, the quarterback, against Devontae Adams. And how did Devontae Adams do for the Oakland? Even though they lost 19-24, how was Devontae Adams' debut in in Vegas without Tom Brady throwing him the ball?
Devontae Adams for 141. He received for 141 yards. He received a touchdown.
It looked like typical Devontae Adams numbers there. It looked like he doesn't need Aaron Rodgers with them because he has his college buddy Derek Carr with him. As I said, they are a good matchup because they know each other's games.
So, and my rebuttal for that is, if you look at the stats, Adams had 10 targets for those 141 yards.
Okay.
Oh, let me see here. Brandon Bolden, two targets.
Okay.
Hunter Renfrow, 3. Hollins, 1.
That's their star receiver.
I mean,
this is no different than Green Bay, though.
No, it is
No,
different.
it's not, because Devontae Adams always takes the majority of the catches.
Aaron used to hit everybody off.
No, not like he hits everybody off. No.
Everyone had 4 receptions at least.
4. Well, they all got what they got.
1 reception, 1, 3, 2. Come on. Yeah, so he got all those yards because he was favored to do it. And good kudos to you, man. You caught him and you got you just all those yards. Kudos to Devontae Adams. Kudos to you. I wasn't expecting
You're upset.
I am upset.
You are upset. He doesn't play for Green Bay no more.
I haven't seen. Very first game he came and he showed out. So
it's not because Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball. It doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. I like that. And as far as Justin Herbert, what did you think of his performance?
And I just want to point out that they lost either way. Justin Herbert, great quarterback, big, fast. Strong will.
Does he remind you of a young Ben Roethlisberger?
Yes.
When Roethlisberger was young and he was being bolted through people. He was a big quarterback.
Man, I was just thinking that.
And he was a runner.
Like, bro, this guy is built like Roethlisberger. But I think he's more athletic than Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger was athletic. He was just a huge man.
Yeah. This kid is big and he's fast and he's strong, and I like him.
So that's kind of a little. Now let me ask one thing on this. Mm-hmm. One thing I wanted to mention: Khalil Mack, who had a big game himself, right? What do you have, like a couple of sacks?
He did his thing.
And it's kind of funny because, I guess the bright lights of LA seem to wake your ass up because you sure were not doing any of this stuff last season with us. Did he even get any sacks with the Bears in all the last couple of years?
Let me tell you what he did. 5 tackles.
3 sacks.
3 sacks.
Yeah. He didn't even put up those numbers at all up with us last season.
Is that a fumble recovery he had?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't do any of that for us last year.
Wow.
Because he was hurt. All of a
Well,
sudden,
guess what?
Now.
He's fresh on the team, just like when he was fresh with us. He came out and he showed out. So now he's showing out for them. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, we'll see. He was because he sure wasn't giving us that
We'll see
production.
if he goes past 6 games, and then we'll go from there.
Now, let's go on to the Buccaneers, and the Cowboys. Yeah. I'm not going to get all Stephen A. Smith here and spend a lot of time on this because I don't think it's necessary because we're not in New York and we're not First Take and we're not East Coast biased here. Bottom line, the Cowboys stunk. And they are garbage. And I don't care what anybody says, they are garbage. Dak Prescott is an overrated quarterback. He'll never win. And by the way, he got hurt. And he's out for many weeks. Meanwhile, you have a 45-year-old Tom Brady.
His thumb got broken.
You have 45-year-old Tom Brady, who didn't really have a big game, if I'm mistaken, did he? He only put up 19 points as a team. What did he put up? 212 yards, a touchdown. He threw the ball. He threw an interception. He got sacked a couple of times. So it's not Tom Brady-ish performance. These are typical numbers.
Against the Cowboys?
These are typical numbers what I expect from a 45-year-old quarterback. And don't be surprised if these are continued numbers that stay like this. But maybe not. The Cowboys are not a good team. And I'm tired of everyone sweating them. They're not a good team. They are an overrated team. Like every year they are, just because of their name, everyone thinks they're going to be good. No, they're not. They are a mediocre team. They always have been. They always will be. Okay? As long as Jerry Jones runs that team, they will be mediocre forever.
So you got Ezekiel Elliott on this team.
So
but
what did he rush for? 52 yards?
I mean, they had a bad game.
Oh. Well, how many bad games is he going to have? Because he's had quite a few last season. Did he put up... When was the last time he put up 100 yards?
Last season was an off-season for him.
Oh.
Last season wasn't an off-season for him.
The season before, too, because this downplay started the season before.
But Zeke was hurt, because remember, he had hurt his toe.
I don't know. I keep hearing these excuses. I'm sorry, but he might put up a couple of 100-yard games, but for the most part, I think he's almost at this point running his course. And I'm also thinking Dak Prescott is pretty much running his course. He reminds me of another overrated quarterback before him, Tony Romo. Sorry, it is what it is.
Wow.
And he'll be another one of those quarterbacks. Typical Dallas quarterback. Overrated, overhyped, and underproductive.
I think their season is, in fact, done.
Done when it started.
Because Jerry Jones was coming out talking about that Dak is only going to be out 4 games.
It'll be longer than that.
His thumb is broken.
And it's his throwing thumb.
And he can't
you have to
the
grip
ball.
It. Now, that's going to take longer than 4 weeks.
So
it has to heal. That takes a while to heal.
They're going to rush him back, and they're going to mess his hand up, and they're going to mess him up, period.
It'll be another injury. It'll be some other injury. This guy is always injured. What did he get injured last year with?
His ankle or his knee?
And then the year before that. So it's always some other part. This is going to be a continuance going forward, because Jerry Jones, again, is desperate like all these other teams are. Oh, I think I found a diamond in the rough. Yeah, for a year. And then what?
The guy's talented, man.
Okay.
Look at the numbers he put up last year.
They lost. There's not much to get out of there. He threw for 134 yards, no touchdowns, an interception, sacked twice.
Break your thumb and see how many yards you're going to throw that ball in the NFL. I'm not going to take anything away from him because he got hurt. Well, it was a bad game.
Look.
The Buccaneers came out and they did what they were supposed to do.
They weren't going anywhere anyway, even if he's 100% healthy.
This is a revenge year for the Bucs, and they came out and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Brady's here to come for a Super Bowl. That's what he came back for. He's putting his whole family on the line. The man's having family trouble so he can get this ring. So this is a revenge year.
Well, Tom should have listened to Giselle and stayed home.
I'm sure after this year,
he's done after
there's
no reason why a 45 going up 46-year-old quarterback should be in the NFL playing against.
But here he is getting these wins.
We'll see what happens. Yards. We will see what happens as the year goes on. But they won this game, so good for them. Moving on.
That's it.
We have the Broncos and the Seahawks.
Oh, yes.
Forgot about that game.
Yes.
Because that was a Monday night game. And so
one of the worst endings I've seen. One of the worst decisions I've seen in
bad coaching. Bad coaching decisions down the stretch at the end there.
Yes. How do you have
bad
47 seconds?
Bad clock management. Bad play calling.
Russell Wilson as your quarterback, and somehow you're going to go on ahead and waste all that time.
And he threw for 340 yards.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me you couldn't have him go another 20 yards to get in the field goal range
Yes.
and try to get maybe a 40-yard field goal or a 50-yard. You decide to say, you know what? I don't trust any of
That's
this.
why I didn't understand that.
And I'm going to run it. I'm going to kick a 64-yarder.
Yes.
Knowing damn well
He's not
what's
gonna
the
make
odds? What's the odds that you're going to make that field goal? Also, they said this kicker was like 1 for 4 or 1 for 5 and 60-yard plus field goals.
So you knew he
what does
wasn't
that tell
gonna
you?
You saw the first kick, right? You saw
Yeah.
the very first one when he kicked it as a practice kick. It wasn't even close to the goal
No,
post.
it had the distance, and that's the thing. It had the distance, but not the accuracy.
Nope.
It's very hard to get an accuracy, even though they were in Seattle, so that still didn't matter.
You have Russell Wilson. How are you not throwing the damn ball? I don't get it. I don't get
He
it.
threw for 340 yards too. He threw the ball for 42
No-
times.
no
What-
interceptions.
if you would have had him throw it 2 more times, what's the
Would've been
difference?
straight.
And with all the time that they had left on the clock,
And your timeout.
So,
it would have been straight.
there's
So
nothing really to
threw-
say on the Seahawks.
They threw that game away.
I mean, West Ham had a good game. Geno Smith did okay. He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, only sacked 2 times. And, he had an efficient game. He didn't
did.
turn the ball over.
He did.
But Seattle's a rebuilding team. And the Broncos really should have won this game.
Yes, they should have. With
So-
better decision making, it would have been good.
So those were the results of this past weekend. So we're moving on to the games for this weekend. And so let's get that started right away because we're already,
How much time are we at?
we're over an hour and 5
Okay.
minutes.
That's good.
So let's going to start here with this week's games. So we're going to start with the Seattle Seahawks at San Francisco 49ers. It's the San Francisco's opening game. No doubt I got San Francisco winning this game. 23-13. Seahawks, 49ers. What do you have?
That's where you're starting at?
Yeah. What do you have on this one?
For this one here, I know I don't have the 49ers.
Oh, you got
I
the
got-
49ers. There you go.
Oh, against Geno?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the 49ers
Okay.
going against Geno because I think this is going to be a revenge game for the 49ers. And Geno looked okay, but not ready to handle
The
the
defense
49ers
is pissed off after
defense.
they played
Yeah,
last week.
They're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Next.
So next we have the Cincinnati traveling to Dallas Cowboys. Playing the boys.
Yep, I have
I got
winning
Cincinnati winning that in a blowout.
that. Yeah.
I am not going to say the score. At this point, I'm not even going to say the scores unless it's really necessary. But I got it as an easy win for Cincinnati. Who do
Yep.
you have?
I got Cincinnati winning
Okay.
it too.
Next we have Lovey and his winless and 0-1 team going against the Broncos. Now, I don't think Denver's going to make the same mistake as Houston. As they did against the Seahawks. So I got Denver at home winning this.
I got Denver picking-
And if you
picking
got
Denver.
and if you got Russell Wilson throwing for 300 and whatever yards against Seahawks, imagine what's going to do to the Texans. Denver Broncos.
Repeat.
Now, Cardinals are going to the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to take the Raiders on this. And I got another win of another big game from Devontae Adams. And I got Kyle Murray stumbling again and being
Against the
mediocre
Raiders
again.
defense, yes, I got the Raiders winning that.
Next is the Titans. And, well, actually, no. Well, we'll do the Bears and Green Bay at the end. We have the Buffalo Bills, or we have the Tennessee Titans at the Buffalo Bills. Bills season opener. Bills all the way. Even though Titans are good, this could be set for an upset because Tennessee does play good on the road historically, last couple of years. But Josh Allen was just spectacular last week,
Yeah.
and I don't see him cooling off. I got the Bills.
I got the Bills too. Titans look good, but the Bills look better. And like I said, Josh Allen looks like he's on a mission. The whole team looks like they're on a mission.
So we're in agreement on that.
Yep.
Next, we got Minnesota at Eagles. I got the Eagles winning this game.
I got Minnesota winning this
And
game.
I don't know what the score will be, but I definitely got the Eagles winning this upset. It looks like a lot of people are picking Minnesota to win this.
Justin Jefferson.
But I'm picking the Eagles, and I got Jalen Hurts having a decent game. But
Justin Jefferson.
I just find a way that I don't think he's gonna have this big game against the Eagles like he did against the Packers. I think the Eagles is a little bit better defensive team, and I think it's gonna be a closer game. And I got the Eagles somehow, some way winning that game. Then we have the Bears and the Packers.
I got the Bears winning.
Now,
The Bears.
by pure heart, I always pick the Bears to beat the Packers. I'm not changing that. Even though 85% of people are picking the Packers to win this. I'm very shocked at your pick in the Bears against your Packers because you love the Packers.
They don't have a wide receiving core. They don't. You can see the inexperience, and I think the Bears are going to take advantage of that. They're going to pressure Rodgers. Rodgers is going to make his Roger-like throws, and these guys aren't going to be ready for those kind of throws. And I think Rodgers is going to get picked off one more time against the Bears because he's going to try and make one of those, Rodgers-like throws when he had Adams around. So we just got to watch out for their run game. Their run game is pretty good.
Yes, it is. They got to stack the line.
Yes, they do.
But the problem with that is Aaron Rodgers always finds someone open. That's the problem. That depends on these receivers are going to catch everything. If they do, then the Bears are in trouble. If not, then the Bears have a chance to win this game. Moving on, we have the Chargers. We have the Chargers at the Chiefs. That's an interesting game. That is an interesting game.
I got the Chiefs.
I'm going to take the Chiefs because the Chiefs are at home. That's the only reason why I'm taking the Chiefs at this point. I think this was in L.A. I would take the Chargers. Who do you have?
I got the Chiefs.
So we agree with that.
Yep.
Now we got the Jets at the Browns.
I got the Browns.
I'll take the Browns. I think the Jets are garbage. We know that. Then we have the Commanders and the Lions. Now this is in Detroit. So what do you think?
I got the Lions.
It's 50 split even. So this is a toss-up.
I got the Lions though. I think the Lions are going to come out.
I'm going to take the Commanders because I think Carson Wentz will have a decent game. I don't know if he'll go for 4 touchdowns, but he'll win enough to
We'll see about that.
Then we have the Buccaneers at the Saints.
We already know who's going to win this game.
Well, you better think about this because this is something you need to remember.
Yeah, I know the Saints have a good record against the Buccaneers.
Not just against the Buccaneers, but against Tom Brady. They beat him all the time.
Not as revenge year.
This isn't a revenge year.
It's a revenge
year. This is a tour, goodbye tour.
Revenge year.
I'm going to take the Saints. Actually, you know what? No, I'll take the Buccaneers, even though I.
Well, why? Tom Brady is so washed up.
He might win it. They might win.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
Then we have the Carolina Panthers at the New York Giants. I'm going to take Panthers because I think Baker Mayfield will actually have a better game.
I think that's going to be a better game for him, too. So I got the Panthers, too.
And then we follow up with the New England Patriots at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think the Steelers.
I'm going to take the Steelers because I just don't. Patriots are not good this season. I know you think they're good. I don't think so. Mac and Cheese is even going to play.
Yeah, his back is hurt. I don't think he's playing.
Well, not that that's going to make a difference, but
yeah, I had the Steelers winning this game.
And then we have the Colts and the Jaguars. We have the Colts at Jaguars. I'm going to take the Colts at the Jaguars.
I got the Colts already too.
Okay. And then next we have the Dolphins at the Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens because it's at home. Mm-hmm. That's why.
And you got that boy Lamar Jackson out there.
But I think Tua will also have a decent game. But I just think it's at home for Baltimore. It's their home opener, and I think they're going to win.
I think it's going to be a blowout.
And then we have the Falcons at the Rams. I got the Rams winning this because, of course, they'll come back after the
Hell yeah, they're going to come back upset.
And they'll win that game. And then we finished this up. We already did it. That finishes everything. So
that's it.
We basically agree on most of the picks. We disagreed with a few.
Maybe 2 or 3 this week.
Yeah.
But those are no brainers. So it's like the odds of them actually winning is going to be ridiculous. I'm going to be placing my bets on FanDuel. I'm sorry, I haven't done FanDuel in a while. DraftKings. So I'm going to do mine. I actually won $23 off of one stupid bet for a parlay. It was like for $1. I threw $1 at it. It was crazy.
And what did you win?
$23. I've lost so much money on DraftKings. I really don't want to lose any more money on it, so I'm leaving that alone. But it was, it's still fun to test your skills and see what's going to happen.
I like the pigskin pick'em. I don't really play the fantasy stuff. I'm definitely not betting any money on it. I'm just not going to do that. The FanDuel, listen on FanDuel my ass. I'm not going to do it. I'm glad that you won money, but you said you lost a lot, and I don't like losing money.
Yeah.
You might as well go to the casino.
That's why I slowed it down. What is it basically like going to the casino? You go up
I'm going to
$700 and you're going to lose.
Then I'm going to go on the roulette table and lose instead of, betting on games. But anyway, With that being said, do you have any closing thoughts on anything? Anything else?
No, I'm excited for the next coming week for football. I think there's going to be a lot of really good games. I'm happy that Packers and Bears game is Sunday night because I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to sit, chill at home, have some beer, and watch the game. Hey, maybe I might join you. I don't know, depending what happens on that Sunday. But that's the game I'm looking forward to the most out there, of course, Chicago. But that being said, I do want to thank everyone for listening. Spotify, Google, Apple Podcast, and for watching on the YouTube. We're gonna get another show in. Hopefully sooner than later. We'll talk about the results of the games. Probably make it a little bit faster than this one, but this was week 1, so we had a lot to get in. So again, Mike, that's Frank. See y'all again next week.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Packers suck.
I don't know about all that.
I'll say it. They suck.
Well, with their receivers this year, yes.
They suck donkey balls.
Wow.
That's how I feel about them, and I hope they lose every game.